Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Jill Valentine.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Brad, calm down. Calm down, calm down.
Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people.
Victims were apparently eaten.
The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris.
Bravo Team's helicopter
Was it derelict?
save for the remaining body of Kevin. We continued our search for the other members, and it turned into
A nightmare.
nightmare.
Joseph! Jill, this way.
Come on! Hey, Brad!
Freaking Brad.
How's it going? Chris, this way. Wait for that mansion!
Enter the survival horror.
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Barry, and myself. We don't know where Chris is.
What is this place?
quite your ordinary house, that's for sure.
Hey, Wesker, where's Chris?
Jill, no. You don't want to go back out there.
But we've got to find...
What was that?
Chris,
No.
Jill, go and investigate.
I'm going
This
with
mansion is gigantic.
Chris and I go back a long way.
All right. You two go. I'll secure this area. Stay sharp.
Oh, thank you so much for the likes. Man, this game looks so good. Thank you for the likes. Appreciate you. Resident Evil. The size of Barry's gun. Victims were apparently eaten. That's right. I got the boomstick, baby.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
Oh, thank you for the follow. Blood.
Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
Resident Evil. Resident Evil. Ladies and gentlemen, the most infamous cinema in history. For Kenneth.
Barry!
What is it?
Watch out!
It's a monster!
Let me take care of it.
Man, watch. Look at this. Ka-cha! Ka-cha!
What the hell is this thing?
I found Kenneth killed by this thing. Let's report this to Wesker.
Wesker!
Wesker! Jill, help me look for him. Let's not leave this hall.
Good idea.
Resident of Evil. Look how gorgeous this game is. Look at her. Oh, I just realized that happens. Back it up. Oh, thank you so much for the likes. Appreciate you. Barry. Where's Barry?
Nothing.
He's probably...
What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris and now Wesker.
There's not much we can do. We can search for him separately. I'll investigate the dining room here.
Okay, then. I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
master of unlocking. Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
Thanks. I may need it.
Listen, if something happens, let's meet up in this hall.
This time I'll be there.
Okay.
So yeah, this initially came out on GameCube. This was a GameCube exclusive, the remake. And then it was ported over to Wii, and then it ended up on computer. But mostly on like Nintendo systems. Oh, thank you so much for the likes. Appreciate you. So we're rocking her her Resident Evil 3 outfit because I have all the outfits unlocked. We might switch though. Look at this game. You can see the dust particles. He gets up eventually. I always wondered why there's chains here. That's crazy. Wow, what a mansion. Resident Evil. Yeah. It's like bits on Twitch. We need this. So I want to show you this. I want to show you this gun really quick. Oh, thank you so much for the likes. So I want to show you this real quick. So, in Resident Evil 2, you'll learn about this gun. This is called the Samurai Edge. Each STARS member is allowed to customize or have a customized Beretta 9mm by Kendo and his brother. So yeah, each STARS member gets one of these. Look at that. The Samurai Edge. I don't think they do, actually. Uh-oh. Back it up. Carry the one. This guy is gonna get up eventually. He's already in scary form. This is Resident Evil 1, the remake. This isn't Resident Evil 3. This was the first official remake of any Resident Evil game. We had this and Resident Evil 0, and then Resident Evil 4, which were all Nintendo exclusives for a while. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Poor Kenneth. Yeah, I just downloaded this onto my Steam Deck as well. It runs beautifully on the Steam Deck. I'm actually rocking a Resident Evil shirt as well today. Yeah, Resident Evil. And then Resident Evil tattoo. Wrong side. Oh boy. Somebody's coming. Is that? I think it's that naked one. Oh, not naked. There's a naked one. Resident Arrow. I remember seeing this for the first time back in 2002 on GameCube and seeing like this lighting. Obviously, it looks a lot better now, but seeing it first for the first time on GameCube, like the remake, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, obviously, it's going to look better now. This is running on like a full-on gaming PC. The GameCube was only 485 megahertz with an IBM Gecko processor and an ATI card. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Resident Evil. Yeah, so I'm going to go through all of these. We're going to do Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. It's going to be blutchy marvelous. Blutchy marvelous. We're going to do the remakes, though. I see a lot of people playing the OGs. I've played those so many times. Like, I could play the OGs on Dreamcast. I could play the OGs on PlayStation. But I figured we'll do the remakes on PS5 with the PS5 upgrade. Oh, man. Fine. Hi. Hi. Resident. Gotcha, bitch. Well, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I just got the I did the upgrade for Resident Evil 2 and 3 for PS5. So we'll check those out after we beat this. I love Resident Evil 2 remake. I think they did it really well on it. Resident Evil 3, it's okay, but they took away some stuff they shouldn't have done. They took some liberties. Oh, right. I have that key. We'll get it later. See, right here. This was such a great introduction. The separate weapons. Which is funny because the idea of, like, separate weapons like that were supposed to come out in Resident Evil 1.5, which was the original Resident Evil 2 that got canceled. Oh, man, thank you for the likes. Look how big he is compared to her, and she's 5'11". He's a big zombie. Welcome back. Everybody say hi to our moderator. The youngest moderator on TikTok. See this? I remember this part in the... Ooh, that scared me. I remember the first time I saw these. Look at the detail. So there's a version of this called Resident Evil DS, which was Deadly Silence, and it's the touchscreen for the Nintendo DS. If you touch her on the screen, she gets mad at you and tells you to quit it. It's hilarious. So we're going to go out here. Yeah, so I started with Ghost of Tsushima, but like this is like my Resident Evil knowledge is kind of crazy. So this is like one of the few non-Sega games that I freaking love. This and Metal Gear Solid. And Parasite Eve. I love Parasite Eve. But yeah, there were very few like non-Sega games that I've played and like have loved, and this series is one of them. Plus, like Resident Evil 1 on the Sega Saturn, in my personal opinion, is the best version because it's the only one. So Sega knew that they weren't getting a sequel. They weren't getting Resident Evil 2 on the Saturn because the Saturn died 3 years after it came out in the US. So Resident Evil 1, Metal Gear Solid 5 is good, but Resident Evil 1 on the Sega Saturn is incredible because it's an actual conclusion. You watch Wesker die, and you can actually see Wesker as a zombie in Battle Royale mode. You can go back into the room, the famous room where you see the X-rays, and you see him there as a zombie. So the fact that they gave us an ending on the Sega Saturn is incredible. But then when Dreamcast came out, we got Resident Evil 2, we got Resident Evil 3. Hey! My brother's in the chat! Wait, the link isn't working? What? What? Hold on. Really, that's weird. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. Thank you for letting me know. So everybody say hi to my amazing brother. This is Ibs. Ibs is hanging out with us all the way from England. He worked for Sega for a lot of years, and he is now the community manager for Square Enix. So we have a celebrity in the house. Oh, thank you for the likes. So if you ever have any Square Enix related questions, he's your man. See, I love this. So, like, when you when we get further into the game, we get back to the mansion after we do some stuff, you're going to see some of these doors removed, but these angles actually play a very important part further in. But yeah, it looks gorgeous. Like, this is my first time trying this on PC. I've been playing it on my Steam Deck, though. Like, I went through it for hours on my Steam Deck. I thought there were... Oh, there he is. Hi, sweetheart. Look at the bite marks. He was thrashed. I told you my biggest issue with Metal Gear Solid 5... My biggest issue with Metal Gear Solid 5 is that it's not complete. We only got 66% of a game because they data mined it and found the whole other chapter that was never finished. You can save your progress. Resident Evil. See, now it's transferring it over to the cloud. So like if I want to play this later on tonight on my Steam Deck in my bedroom, on like when I'm laying down, it has the save right there through cloud. And it's funny, the original, so this was never supposed to be named Resident Evil. The initial name for it was Biohazard, but Biohazard the rumor was, I don't know if it's true, but it makes sense. There's a band in the US, an 80s thrash metal band named Biohazard, and they wouldn't relinquish the name. So they had to come up with an American version of it, which is Resident Evil. And Shinji Mikami, the creator of Resident Evil, always hated this name. They actually came up with it when he wasn't even in the room because they knew he'd hate it. So this is the other weapon you get when you beat the game. See this? I don't know who. So this is a custom kendo gun as well. It's definitely not a Samurai Edge because Samurai Edge is a Beretta. But they don't say. It just says RPD Special Team on it. But I wonder who has it. I wonder if this was like Barry's gun, since we technically only get to play as Barry in Revelations. Oof. Oh, heads up. Got him. Barry. Where's Barry? Yeah, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to do 2. I actually had messaged Ibs. I was wondering if I should do the Dreamcast version of Resident Evil 2. But the Resident Evil 2 remake, they did such a good job on. We might as well enjoy it. There was something like 129 producers to make Resident Evil 2 remake. So, they put time into it. And as I said, my biggest issue wasn't with Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 2. If anything, Resident Evil 1, If anything, Resident Evil 1, like this one, added in stuff that Shinji always wanted to add in, like the Trevor saga and everything, the things that he wasn't able to do in the first one. So, and then Resident Evil 2 added a bunch of stuff. It was only Resident Evil 3 that removed stuff. It felt weird. Oh yeah, I've played I've played a little bit of Watch Dogs before. Oh boy. Ooh. Why are you guys barking? There's nobody here. See, he's gonna get up eventually. Is there somebody here? Oh, somebody's coming home. Hey, dogs. Dags, come here. Yoda. I don't think I can go past here yet. I love this. Right, watch this. Like they were probably cleaning up blood and all sorts of nasty. So the initial idea of Resident Evil was never meant to be a separate game. The initial idea was that it was going to be two players playing at the same time. Like, two players controlled Chris and Jill. But the problem is when they created it, the Risk engine for the PlayStation, or whatever it's called, couldn't handle them being separated. So it ended up being a forced, separate one-player game. And it's always that Jill is faster, but takes damage more. But Chris is stronger, but has less inventory. So yeah, they made it where Chris is technically the hard version of the game because he does have less inventory. So he's gonna. Oh, we need that. Those are very important. I don't think we can see my favorite Stars member yet. But yeah, let's go here really quick and swap out her costume. I don't know if I want to rock Resident Evil 3 costume this whole time, since we're gonna use that when we play Resident Evil 3. You know, let's go burn the key really quick, and we'll pick out another costume for her. Maybe we'll do her a BSAA costume from Resident Evil 5. This is one of my favorite rooms in the whole house. And they've remade it a bunch of times. Like the Sega Saturn version's different, the PlayStation version's different. But look at this. So yeah, you've got 4 costumes here. Let's see. We've got Stars Jill, Army Jill, Casual Jill, or BSAA Jill. Let's do Army Jill. Watchdog Legion. No. I know Watchdog is about isn't that like that hacker game? See, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, he's not up yet. He'll get up. So the thing is that we have to kind of pick an outfit out now, unless we want to deal with him when he rises. Actually, you know what? Let's keep her classic. Let's do classic Stars Jill. Because then we'll keep Resident Evil 3 Jill, Resident Evil 3. There we go. There she is. I remember the biggest thing I noticed on the GameCube version that you couldn't see the stars patch. So like, yeah, we're playing this. So we're playing this in the highest resolution, by the way. This is running. I have this running at 4K for you guys. So it should look really good on your guys' phones.
Barry,
Oh, Jill. Got any good news?
other than I'm still alive in this penthouse? No.
Can't say it's much safer here either. Better secure our escape route first.
There she is, the Colt Python.
I see. Thanks. I'll take it.
See you later.
Ciao.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it. We only get to play as Barry in Revelations 2. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. That we don't get to play as him a lot more. Okay, hold on. Where do we need to go? We gotta go up here. I'm going to keep on trying to run into him. We want to keep running into him. The more we run into him, the better chance that he'll stay alive. And we want him to stay alive. Of course I know what GTA is. GTA came out when I was a kid. The original GTA, so all like the newer generations of gamers, the original GTA was an overhead game. So, okay, so here's what we gotta do. We gotta go get the dog whistle. This part's about to get crazy. Do you like Dags? Get the dog whistle really quick. And then I'm definitely going to play for you guys Resident Evil Village. So like in October, we get, I already pre-ordered it. We get the DLC for Resident Evil Village, and it's going to have the new Rose, which is Ethan's daughter. But what makes it incredible is that we get to play that game in third person for the first time. So they're actually switching the, oh, it did end in checkmate. Look. Yep. Checkmate. We get to play Resident Evil Village. Because remember, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard and Resident Evil 8 Village are first-person games. Similar to, we've had first-person Resident Evils before. But this time around, they changed it where we actually get to use, play the game in third freaking person, which is just going to be absolutely incredible. To be able to do that, like, to see Ethan for the first time. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. So October 27th, we're going to be, hopefully by then, we'll get through Resident Evil 1. I want to do Resident Evil 1, which is this. I'm not going to do Chris and Jill. I'm just going to do Jill. And then we'll do Resident Evil 2. I'm thinking of doing Claire. We'll start with Claire, and then maybe we'll do Leon B. And then we'll do Resident Evil 3. And then Resident Evil Village. Wait, hold on. What do I need the lighter for? I think it's only for that. I think that's only for the chimney to burn the map. I don't know if we really need that. All right, so. Oh, you mean the game I created? Korg of the Dead? It's $15. It's $15 on Steam. We kept the price very moderate considering I spent around $6,000 to make it so far. It's expensive. Making a video game is expensive. For anybody that wants to make a video game, realize video game design is not cheap. So let me read. Look, I want you guys to see this. Look. The wall is lined with portraits. All of the faces have been painted out. That's creepy. And then, hold on. Let me show you this picture. I think she says that she doesn't have time to appreciate the art. Let me see if she does. Hold on. Oh, there we go. This picture used to be the actual mountains that this game was in. Hold on, actually, before we do that, hold on. Since we're here, let's go get the shotgun. But yeah, creating a game, it's a lot of fun, specifically when people start playing it and they tell you how much they like it. But yeah, it's expensive. And we made a 2D, sprite-based game. And the next game we're gonna do, because we have a sequel to Korg of the Dead, but the next game we're gonna do is gonna be in a simulated 3D engine. So that's gonna be exciting. All right, hold on. We're gonna go. I got you. We're gonna go here. So, fun fact: the reason why you see those doors, it's Resident Evil 1 remake on the original version was on GameCube, but this is on PC. But it's the Resident Evil 1 remake, or as they call it, RE remake, or RE make. See, when you play this on advanced on PlayStation, this level, there's like 5 zombies in here, or 4 zombies in here. It's crazy. No, I don't play Siege. The only shooter I really play now is Fortnite, because I can play as Jill Valentine in Fortnite. And then I played a little bit of Call of Duty because I got the T-800 skin and I wanted to play as the T-800. Hell yeah, buddy. I'll tell you why I look so good, because I do nothing but the best for you beautiful people. We're rocking this on PC, and we're running it in 4K. Yeah, I can't turn my camera. Actually, I'll show you why it's rocking it. Hold on. No, I got the camera all set up. I have my high-end gaming rig. This thing is running on a 3070 right now. Yup. Jill Valentine has her Stars outfit and her Resident Evil 3 outfit. And Chris has his BSAA outfit and his Resident Evil 8 outfit in Fortnite. Yes, sir. So yeah, we're rocking this in 4K. That's why it looks freaking spectacular. I think I just went in the wrong door like an idiot. Yeah, I'm not going to waste that door again. We're going to go upstairs and then downstairs. Oh, thank you for the follow. But yeah, we're going to go through, welcome in. We're going to do Resident Evil 1. And then we're going to do, on PlayStation 5, we're going to do Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake with the PS5 upgrades. Mostly for the fact that I love, so like when I'm playing on this controller, I can actually let you guys hear like the sound effects. Like there's so much more that happens on this controller, and since I'm live, I put the mic closer so you guys can hear the doors unlocking and stuff like that. Gives you a little bit more immersion, even though technically this controller, which is one of the best systems ever made. This controller, which is the Sega Dreamcast, did all of that. This has, when you play Resident Evil 2 and 3 on this, it actually has the EKG. It tells you how many bullets you have left. It's got the best vibration function. I might stream Fortnite now that they got now that we're out of that DBZ thing. I haven't played Fortnite in like 3 weeks. I don't know if people want to watch you. I don't know if people want to watch somebody play Fortnite. Fortnite also, I'm not able to really talk because I'm concentrating and because I'm terrible at that game. With this type of game, I can actually chat. Okay, we need to go. We gotta go here. Wait. No, I was right. We gotta go upstairs. Yup. So you played Resident Evil on the Sega Saturn. That's my favorite Resident Evil. I was just talking about it's my favorite Resident Evil because it did not. So I always say this. So in the 90s when I was a kid, we had several video game magazines. And we had Ultra Game Players, we had Game Fan, we had EGM, we had Game Pro. And a lot of these systems, a lot of these magazines, I don't know if Sony was paying them. I don't honestly know what was going on. But these magazines were freaking terrible to the Saturn. The Saturn was never meant for like 3D. It became 3D late into its production because of the PlayStation. So when it came out, they compared Resident Evil 1 on PlayStation to the Resident Evil 1 on the Saturn and blew them up into like these high-end images, and it just didn't look good. And people are like, wow, the Saturn can't even like do anything. And like, it wasn't true. It was almost like a smear job, and Sega never said anything about it. They just accepted it. They were like, look, our system was never built for 3D. We were trying to corner the 2D market because at that point, SNK was just killing it. So yeah, like the fact that the Saturn version of Resident Evil looked as good as it did, considering that it required so much extra programming because it had dual chips. Like, producing 3D games on the PlayStation was not a hard feat. It was built for that. The Saturn was not. So yeah, when it comes down to like the best versions of Resident Evil, I'm going to say Resident Evil on Sega Saturn and then the Resident Evil version on Nintendo DS called Deadly Silence. Because Deadly Silence was amazing as well. And that's kind of like besides the PS Vita, you don't really have a way to take your original Resident Evils and take them on a trip unless you bring a Nintendo DS or you do a PS Vita and do your game transfer from your PS3. And if you don't have those now, you might be screwed because I think they shut down that store. Okay, so we're gonna go now. We gotta go downstairs and we gotta go meet the awkwardness. But yeah, I made sure to download all of my oh, thank you for the likes. I made sure to download all of my PS1 games onto my PS Vita before they shut down that server. And I've got them saved on multiple memory cards. Because when I go on trips, I like to take my PS Vita so I can play Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3. Wrong way. But now that I have my Steam Deck, for anybody that hasn't seen a Steam Deck yet or play with a Steam Deck, I bought one thinking that, okay, it's going to play games moderately good. That thing is ridiculous. That thing is playing Resident Evil Village. Now, granted, you only get like 45 minutes of battery life when you're playing Resident Evil Village, but still, that's impressive. Yeah, man, Resident Evil, I got my first Resident Evil when I was 16. Because I got it on Saturn in 97. And I ordered it in Japan. So I had to figure out all the puzzles in kanji. Because back then, there were no online guides. So I had to figure that shit out. Wait a minute. I think I might have screwed up. Oh, no, I didn't. We're good. Of course I played Doom. In 1995, when Doom came out, my buddy got a copy of it. And so back in the 90s, for anybody that's not of my age, I'm 42. So back in the 90s, when gaming was still becoming a thing, if you were a gamer, you got made fun of. Woo! Heads up! y'all saw that? He came at me like a spider monkey. So yeah, if you were a gamer in the 90s, you were made fun of. It wasn't until like cool kids started playing games that it became socially acceptable. So I remember my buddy got a bootleg copy of Doom 2 because computer games were so expensive back in the day. And we installed it onto, because we live in a country where they care about more about military. So half of my high school were portables. So our computer lab was in a portable. So during lunch, we would play video games in there, and I remember he got us a copy of Doom 2 on PC, and we were playing it in the computer lab in like 95, and we would just do that for lunch. And I remember all these jocks and all the cheerleaders came in there and just started ragging on us. They were like making fun of us for gaming. And I remember like 6 years later, I saw like one of the jock couples that one of the jock couples came into Best Buy when I was a supervisor there, and they were buying DDR. And I just remember, I was like, can you imagine if these kids were playing DDR back then, how much people would have made fun of them? And now it's like socially acceptable. Now being a gamer's cool. Back then it was not. There would have been no Twitch back then to play video games. So yes, the long answer with the ADD peppered in is I have played Doom. He's going to be a super... Is he? Oh, no, he's not up yet. He might be up. You're not up either? Oh, nice. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Appreciate you. That would have been nice if I remembered to unlock that earlier. The crazy part is that they remember how to open up doors. That makes me believe that there's still a little bit of humanity left in them. I don't think it activates until you get further away. There it is. Come here, sweetheart. Well, that's not what I wanted. It's okay. Yeah, the initial idea was Shinji Mikami wanted Crimson Zombies in the game. He wanted the Trevor story. So this, I really don't consider this a remake. Hey, you know, he could have been like the doctor that was nice. He could have been one of them. I doubt it. So yeah, being a gamer back in the day, we kind of like paved the road for you guys to be able to game and like have it socially acceptable, because it sucked back in the day. I knew video games were going to be a big thing in '97. I still remember going in the class, and I was in homeroom, and my buddy Brandon Shupak, he wasn't in class. My friend Randy and my friend, who was it? And Eddie. All three of these guys were gone. And I was like, what the hell? Like, where were they? So I remember, I'm gonna really age myself here, but you guys know how old I am anyway. I beeped my buddy Brandon Shupak, and he called me back on one of the phone banks outside of my classroom, and I'm like, dude, where are you? And I remember, I never forgot what he said. He goes, Final Fantasy VII just came out. I will not be in school for an entire week. I never forgot that. That dude literally was like, I will not be in school for a whole week. And I did not see Brandon for a whole week. Whole week. Gone. And I remember he came back into class like the following Monday, and he was like, I got the gold chocobo. This dude played Final Fantasy VII for like, I don't even know how many hours, because I didn't play Final Fantasy VII until 2019. But that's when I knew that video games were going to kind of like change the world. Yeah, man. My buddy became an analyst at the CIA because of video games. Like his typing skills and his problem-solving skills. Video games, like because of video games, I created a video game. Like you can literally go right here. Hold on. Like, I made a video game because of my love of video games. But yeah, video games changed so many people's lives. Like, Sega saved my life. Like, I will always be indebted to Sega because back in '99, I had to have an extreme back surgery because I had really bad scoliosis. I went through puberty too late. So back in the 90s, they used to check you for scoliosis. I didn't actually go through puberty till I was like 15 and a half, 16. So the curve in my spine was so bad by the time I was 18 that it was going to paralyze me. So they had to do a surgery where they essentially severed my spine and put metal rods in there. So for 7 months of my life after that back surgery, I couldn't bathe myself. They had to have a nurse that had to stay with me. I was on pain meds for 7 months straight. And honestly, the amount of pain, like I just didn't want to be here anymore because it was just constant pain. And a game came out on Dreamcast called Shenmue. And Shenmue kept me alive. And I just remember playing that game and thinking, oh, wrong button. And I just remember playing that game and thinking, if this guy can survive the life that he's going through, I can survive the life that I'm going through. And I just played that game over and over. And you met him earlier, Ibs. Ibs and I became friends. He's my brother, and he was working at Sega at the time. And then I started helping out voice actors who worked with Sega. And one of my best friends now is Corey Marshall, the lead voice actor in Shenmue. So like video games have changed my life. And then I was a couple days ago or last week, I got a package. Let me read it to you. I got a package from Sega thanking me for my work on Virtua Fighter Ultimate Showdown. And Danny, the community manager there, sent me a whole entire box from England. Like, this dude sent me stuff like this. He sent me an official Sega Bluetooth speaker. He sent me all of these games, sealed games. He sent me, like, a Sonic the Hedgehog hat and Toe Jam and Earl arcade, he just sent me so much amazing stuff as a thank you. Like, this was amazing. He sent me like the official Sega Mega Drive book. This amazing satchel. Look at this. So yeah, because of video games, I started working with Sega. But yeah, he sent me this. I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, Dear Ben, thanks so much for all your help with the Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown campaign. I really appreciate it. Wonderful to have Sega fans as passionate as you out there. To be this good takes ages. Signed, Danny, Sega of America Senior Global Manager. And he put it on official Sega letterhead for me so I could frame it. So yeah, not only did Sega save my life, but I get to help them and work on stuff. And when I started creating Korg of the Dead, I hired Corey. So Ryu Izuki from Shenmue is in Korg of the Dead. I hired him as a voice actor in the game. See, all I ever wanted to do was be a content creator and you know, stream and talk about games and talk about life. And I tried that on Twitch for like 4 years. And then when TikTok came out and now they let us stream, I feel like there's a cooler audience here for me because it's not as saturated yet. Uh-oh. Oh, hi, God. Oh, God. Back it up. There we go. Wait, did I get the gem? I didn't get the gem yet. Alright, so I'm going to narrate. So this is, out of anything in video games, this is the darkest thing in video game history, right here. And I'm gonna narrate it for you guys. Wait, should we pop him first? We'll pop him first. Uh-oh. Alright. I'm gonna grab this battery. Alright. So this is called the Innkeeper's Diary. May 9th, 1998. Played poker tonight with Scott and Elias from security and Steve from research. Steve was the big winner, but I think he was cheating. Scumbag. May 10th, 1998. One of the higher-ups assigned me to take care of a new creature. It looks like a skin gorilla. Feeding instructions were to give it live animals. When I threw in a pig, the creature seemed to play with it, tearing off the pig's legs and pulling out the guts before it actually started eating. So before we go to the next page, that animal, you've only get to see it once, and it's in an unreleased version of Resident Evil called Resident Evil 1.5. Which was supposed to be Resident Evil 2, but then Shinji Mikami at around 80% decided to redo the game. But in Resident Evil 1.5, you actually see those. If you can get the beta copy of it, you actually fight against those gorillas. They're freaking scary as heck. May 11th, 1998. At around 5 a.m., Scott woke me up. Scared the shit out of me, too. He was wearing a protective suit. He handed me another one and told me to put it on. Said there'd been an accident in the basement lab. I just knew something like this would happen. Those bastards in research never sleep, even on holiday. May 12th, 1998. I've been wearing this damn spacesuit since yesterday. My skin's getting grimy and feels itchy all over. The goddamn dogs have been looking at me funny, so I decided not to feed them today. Screw them. May 13th, 1998. Went to the infirmary because my back is all swollen and feels itchy. They put a big bandage on it and told me I didn't need to wear the suit anymore. All I want to do is sleep. So, we know at this point that the T-virus was dropped or something happened, and we know now that it was in aerosol form because it's airborne, because he was not bitten. So this is where you know at this point that he did contract T-virus. It was given to him via an aerosol, and they're like, well, he's infected, just whatever. I guess they didn't know the severity of what it could do to you yet, which is really sad. This is one of the saddest parts in this. May 14th, 1998. Found another big blister on my foot this morning. I ended up dragging my foot all the way to the dog's pen. They were quiet all day, which is weird. Then I realized some of them had escaped. Maybe this is their way of getting back at me for not feeding them the last 3 days. If anybody finds out, I'll have my head handed to me. May 16th, 1998. Rumors going around that a researcher who tried to escape the estate last night was shot. My entire body feels hot and itchy, and I'm sweating all the time now. I scratched a swelling on my arm, and a piece of rotten flesh just dropped off. What the hell's happening to me? May 19th, 1998. Fever gone but itchy. Today hungry and eat doggy food. May 21st, 1998. Itchy, itchy. Scott came. Ugly face. So I killed him. Tasty. Itchy, tasty. You just got to hear from start to finish a man's life on paper. And the last thing he wrote before he fully transformed into the Walking Dead was Itchy Tasty. And they didn't change this. This is the original Keeper's Diary from the 1996 version of Resident Evil. And there he is right there. And there's Scott. So these are the two guys that you heard about. That's the guy that he ate right before he turned. So what's really cool about this version is... Oh, thank you so much for the likes. What's cool about this version is that they still gave us a bit of like that old school feeling. For any of you like Final Fantasy VII fans, the pre-rendered backgrounds where you're essentially walking on like on a painting. This is simulated. This is simulated pre-rendered with 3D overlays on it. I know, right? It's what my only thing about content, and this is like my only snobby thing. If you're going to play a game for people on stream, it has to look good. Like if I go into somebody's stream and I see it lagging and I see like the game doesn't look good, like I won't watch. So when I started content creating, I built out this studio for about $15K. Like my computer alone's was like $6,000 because I always wanted to look amazing for you guys. So yeah, like this is running on 4K and we're streaming on 1 gigabit internet. So we shouldn't have any lag. Everything should sound good. We're running mics on XLR. Everything should sound and look incredible, which is exactly how it should be. Like little details like this, like the flickering of the lights when you come here. See the flickering of the lights? They added in onto the pre-rendered background actual animation, FMVs overlaid onto the pre-rendered backgrounds. And I am working on getting an overlay designed by my designer. I just got to wait for her to get back to me because I'm going to put something here. I want to keep as much space for the camera and the gameplay, but there should be something around here. So I'm working on that too. Well, I'm glad you're in here hanging out. Yeah, it's a classic, man. It's an absolutely beautiful game. I still remember when it came out on GameCube, I was like, because we hadn't seen, and here's the funny part. Well, not even the funny part. This game is the reason why Resident Evil switched its format to an action-based game. This game was not well received. It got great reviews, but not a lot of people bought it. People complained that it was too slow and that it felt like you were... But look, that's like they're not superhumans. They're so yeah, like this game was the dawn of Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, which was the higher, fast-paced, almost Dead Rising-esque versions of the games. But the fact that you are slower and that the enemies still move quicker, like that to me, and don't get me wrong, like everybody speaks gospel about Resident Evil 4. I love that we got the tie-in of Los Plagas, but the fact that I wasn't fighting zombies anymore still vexes me to this day. Like, zombies are what makes Resident Evil. And then they tried to go back to that format in Resident Evil 6, because Resident Evil 4 and 5, remember, they weren't zombies. But we'll see how they do with, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Resident Evil. Oh, boy. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Resident Evil 4 Remake. I adored Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and I adored Resident Evil Village. I can't wait to see the third-person version of Resident Evil Village. But to me, yeah. But to me, the original Resident Evils, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and then one of the most underrated and unrespected Resident Evils is Resident Evil Code Veronica. Resident Evil Code Veronica is freaking perfect. And it's never gotten a remake. It's only been technically touched up on PS2 and then touched up again on PS3, but it's never gotten like a full-fledged remake. But yeah, that was technically the first Sega Resident Evil exclusive, because that came out on Dreamcast, and it had a year on Dreamcast before it was redone, deemed Code Veronica X on PlayStation 2. It was also the first time that Resident Evil had 3D backgrounds. So we're about to see my favorite STARS member. So my favorite STARS member is Forrest Speyer, and my favorite Resident Evil character is Marvin. Oh, there he is, guys. Forrest was the only one that can go shot for shot with Chris Redfield in marksmanship. Forrest. Yeah, he got killed by he got attacked out there, and went out here to protect himself because he got attacked out in the hall in the foyer, and came out here and got killed by the crows. But this part's so creepy. Watch this. A lot of people love Leon. R.I.P., buddy. I love Leon in Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 4 and then Resident Evil 6, where he was battling with his alcoholism. I felt more bad for him than enjoying him as a character, because he was a really bad alcoholic in Resident Evil 6. He was just going through so much at that point. And then we lost the original voice actor. Paul Haddad died of throat cancer in like 2020, like during the pandemic. We lost him to throat cancer. But yeah, I knew when I saw a remake, Wolf, I knew that it was going to be 4. Like, they're not going to pass up a remake opportunity for 4. Of course. I've played Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles. Darkside Chronicles is incredible because we get that Krauser mission, Operation Jackal. Yeah, the rail shooters are incredible. I played the crap out of those.
Richard, what happened? You're wounded.
Look, you could see the cuts on his face, man. Mm-hmm.
What did this to you?
Big snake. And it had to be poisonous.
See, that's a misnomer.
Richard, hold on.
Snakes are not poisonous, they are venomous.
Bring me serum. I saw some, but didn't bring any.
I'll go and get it, okay? You're gonna make it.
Thanks.
Wait a minute, are you kidding me right now? You're lying right now. Dude. All right, we're going to the interwebs. Hold on. Dude, are you kidding me? You're about to have your mind blown. Dude, that's the sequel. That is the sequel to Umbrella Chronicles. I know where it is. Let's go save Richard. Richard, what's happening? But yeah, Darkside Chronicles, you were playing alongside Krauser as Leon Kennedy on one of their first missions together, where they're investigating a BOW. So Krauser is actually good in that version. Oh, it's so freaking cool. Operation Jackal. Calm down, Cupcake. Yup. It wasn't well known. It was at the end of the life cycle of the Wii. But yeah, man, Darkside Chronicles. You should grab yourself a copy of it. Darkside Chronicles. Yeah, I've got my copy right over there. Another great Wii game is Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Another amazing Wii game. It's basically Marvel vs. Capcom with an anime house. So freaking cool. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Yeah, we got some gems, man, on the Wii. We got LA Machine Gun, which was a Model 2 rail shooter game for Sega Arcade. So Shinji Mikami always wanted to have Crimson Heads. Crimson Heads are basically the final version of a T-virus infection. It's basically the end of the T-virus line. Like what it was meant to do. Richard!
Here, Richard. I'm gonna give you a shot.
And it's funny because it wasn't a zombie that caused the outbreak in Raccoon City. It was the dogs. It was mice that actually ate the G-virus samples when William Birkin was attacked, and then the mice got eaten by the crows, and then the crows got infected, and then the crows actually started attacking humans when they became infected with the G-virus, and that's what actually caused the outbreak in Raccoon City. And what's another thing is Raccoon City had something like 200,000 people in it. It was a huge city. So when the president decided to nuke it, there was only like I think 12 Raccoon City survivors. So yeah, they cratered a whole entire town with a nuke. Okay, where do I need to go now? We went there. We carried the one. Well, let's go down here and grab our gem. Yup. So Resident Evil 3 is very unique because it takes place before and after the events of Resident Evil 2. But in Resident Evil 3, the president literally makes a decision. First, they blow the roads out. So they blow the roads out, separating Raccoon City from the rest of the world. And once they realize the infection can't be fixed, they send in Spec Ops to retrieve samples and to survey the area. So the Spec Ops are basically fighting against the UBCS and Umbrella Special Services, the special forces for Umbrella. So once they realize they can't fix the situation, they give up and they leave and they nuke the place. There wasn't a lot of people that were left alive, but there were still people left alive in Raccoon City. That's what makes it sad. We still did lose questions. The Resident Evil movies for me, some of them are really good. Some of them are not. Like I look at anything that is redone. I look at anything that's redone as a separate universe. So, case in point, Marvel Cinematic Universe versus comic books. Whenever I see something come out, I look at it and I say, well, this is a different universe. So that's how I consider it. Like they're not in canon. They tried to put Alice. They tried to introduce Alice into Resident Evil, into main continuity, and people were like, don't do that. So they're not bad. Like, I love the first one. The second one was garbage. I love the third one. The fourth one was garbage. The fifth one was garbage. And then the sixth one was good. But the number 1 and 3 are amazing. And the fact that in Resident Evil... Oh, God. Oh, hi, sir. That scared me a little bit. The fact that we get the actor from Johnny Cage... The actor who plays Johnny Cage in the original Mortal Kombat from '94, that he actually plays the cowboy in Resident Evil 3. I love that. But I loved Alice's character. I thought Alice's character was freaking spectacular in the first one. Not in the second one. Second one, I don't know what they were thinking. Plus, they messed up. They called it Special Tactics and Rescue Squad. It's Special Tactics and Rescue Service. Like, they totally butchered the name, the acronym that is STARS. And then all the STARS members wouldn't stay in the same building and allow themselves to get sprayed like that from the Nemesis. Oh, God, that whole movie was weird. And there was, like, little things, too. Like, little details. So, like, when you meet the, remember when you, in Resident Evil 2, Apocalypse, where you meet the news lady, the one that's with the camera, and she's like, I'm gonna win a Pulitzer. You don't win a Pulitzer. Pulitzer is for writing. It's not for videography. So there's, like, little things like that that annoyed me. What are your thoughts on Resident Evil, the film franchise? Hold on one sec, guys. Oh, oh, I already popped him. Okay, he was a Crimson. I already popped him. All right, we're good. Oh, no, I didn't pop him. Oh, that's a cool... Oh, you see the veins on the back of his head. Oh, they butchered Nemesis. Oh, my God, they made Nemesis so dumb. Fun fact. Thank you. I'll tell you this, though. The coolest scene in probably zombie movie history was that hallway with the lasers. That shit was raw. That was so fucking raw. That scene was so awesome. But yeah, here's and I know at least Wolf and Trons are gonna understand this. How do you mess up Resident Evil stuff? You have such amazing source material. That hallway was ridiculous. So much to the fact that they took that and put it in Resident Evil 4 as an homage. But here's my thing, right? How do you mess up a series? Like, how do you mess that up? You have the best source material. Like, I'm going to give you an example. The new Resident Evil movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, that movie was so garbage that I thought it was a mistake. I thought I was watching like a porn version of it. I was like, oh, I downloaded the wrong Resident Evil. That's how bad that movie was. And then they messed up the series. Netflix made a series, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, what did you do? Like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, did they do it as like a joke? Like, how do you mess up a Resident Evil series? Like, how do you do that? It's such a simple thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the Resident Evil series was so bad, and I had to finish it because I have to, if I start something, I have to finish it. And I went through the whole entire thing on Netflix, and I was pissed off at myself for watching it. Like, I felt like I failed myself as a Resident Evil fan. So yeah, don't watch that. It's terrible. Freaking god-awful. Don't watch it. And it got canceled. The show got canceled after one season, so they left it on a cliffhanger. Because Netflix isn't dumb. Dude, I noticed, so there's like little things I noticed, right? Like look at the scratch marks. Little things. But yeah, the show, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know why they were doing that storyline. It's like they had this, it's like they tried to reinvent some shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, don't reinvent. Don't try to reinvent. Just make with the core material. You've got great source. Don't screw it up. And they did. Yep. I like that concept. I thought that was pretty cool, like seeing like a new Raccoon City and stuff like that. But then they messed it up. And I love the guy that played Wesker. I love that actor. I loved him he was in a show called Fringe. I loved him in that. But I'm like, he's not a Wesker. And then they made Wesker all goofy with like multiple clones. I'm like, what is going on? And why did you have to show off his outfit? Like, why? Thank you. Just stick to it. Like, hire showrunners the problem is that they hire these showrunners to make a show that never played the games in their lives. They don't know shit about Resident Evil. They don't. I know! He got bullied so bad. They were attacking him on Twitter. He was so bad. And then here's the funny part. Hold on. I'm gonna read something to you guys. So, you remember when you're watching Welcome to Raccoon City, right? Hold on. I'm gonna read you guys something because this shit fucking blew my mind. So we're gonna type it in. I'm gonna read you something. So they hired whatever his name is, the dude that was in Blade. He's been in like a bunch of different movies. The guy that was he was in Gotham. I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on. So the guy that Donald Logue, who was Chief Irons. Hold on. So, Welcome to Raccoon City. Watch this. So here we go. Here we go. Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. So this is the movie, right? So the movie had a budget of $25 million and made $42 million. So basically they lost a shit ton of money. But here's where it gets interesting, right? So they hired Donald Logue. The original posting on this, and they got rid of it, it's Donald Logue as Chief Brian Irons. And on the Wikipedia, it actually said that he was a corrupt chief of police. And people were like complaining about the Wikipedia because they're like, you never learned that he's corrupt because he's alive for like 15 minutes in the movie. God, this movie was so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. I'm like thinking about how bad it was. Yeah, so I just don't understand, man. Like, and again, that was a great question because I did love the original. Why is it in every Resident Evil there's some nasty ass shit in the kitchen? Look at this. Watch this. I'm gonna read this. Let you guys actually see it. Look at this. A piece of meat from an identified source. And I think when you go over here, she actually says, what were they? I thought she says, what were they cooking? Yes, I'll give them the mansion. But, like, when it comes to Resident Evil, the first one with Milo, the first one was incredible. I loved it. You know, we get to see the liquors. We get to see the battles. I thought they did a really good job. But then it went downhill, and then it kind of went back uphill with Resident Evil 3, because I love that one. Here we go. One of the... Wait, what did I forget? Hold on. Isn't there, like, something I need to activate in here? Hold on. No. Yeah, I remember when I played Resident Evil, here we go. I remember when I was playing Resident Evil Biohazard, and, like, you're going through the kitchen in that house in Louisiana, and I was like, this is the only time that a kitchen can be nasty, because people in Louisiana must, you know, if they're turning into some shit, that kitchen's gonna be gross. But that was I was, like, overly nasty as well. And, like, I have no idea what they were trying to feed me. Yeah, it's always gross. Just nastiness. Okay, so I need to get... Hold on, what are we missing? This is only part of the page. I mean, I think it's missing some stuff. Yeah, it's missing... There it is. Because of Resident Evil, I started listening to classical music because this became my favorite piece, Moonlight Sonata. Oh yeah, the game is beautiful. The game is absolutely beautiful. And I really like the remake of Resident Evil 2. I thought they did a really good job with the Resident Evil 2 remake. The girl that plays Claire, the face model for Claire in Resident Evil 2, is like a runway model. So yes, to answer your question, I'm hot and cold in regards to Resident Evil, the RCU, the Resident Evil Cinematic Universe. That actually works. RCU. Okay, where do I need to go? Oh, right. We need to go upstairs. Go check on Richard. Oh, no. If we're talking about the CG movies, those are fucking incredible. Vendetta? The scene in Vendetta where Leon and Chris are back-to-back fighting zombies is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. But see, with those aren't... What makes those incredible is they're in continuity. They're in-betweeners for the actual games. So all of those are so great. Where you see Rebecca get infected and then she freaking cures herself. Like, those are just perfect. Perfect. I did a TikTok recently about that back-to-back scene. Oh, no, I don't want to talk about the Resident Evil 3 remake. They did the stupidest thing ever. In my lifetime, I'm 42 years old. In my lifetime, I deserve to see Jill go back into RPD. I deserve to see that. I deserve to see Jill go back into RPD for one final time, because I'm never going to see that again in my lifetime. And what did they do? They sent Carlos in there. They sent Carlos in. Like, there was no reason to have that whole Bard shit. Nathaniel Bard doesn't exist. They put him in that game, and then don't get me started on what they did with if I hated Brad before, oh boy, if I hated Brad before, I triple despise him now because they basically took away his awesome death scene, which I loved because he freaking left them to die, and then had him bite Marvin. Like, the fact that Marvin dies, so in continuity, Marvin gets bit in Outbreak File 2, Desperate Times. He gets bit on the stomach, and he stays behind knowing that he has a fatal bite. So the other people can escape in the underground, and he can help out Leon and Claire. So without him, without Marvin, Leon and Claire don't exist. So for them to make it where freaking Brad bit him, freaking Brad, like, that pissed me off so bad. I'm like, I understand Capcom, you own it, but like, there comes a time. Oh shit, I do need the lighter. Yeah, Resident Evil. Oh man, I need the lighter. Damn it! Why didn't you guys tell me I was gonna need the lighter? Oh, it's gonna be a schlep. So yeah, 3. They could have done so much with 3. They did the wrong things. So they took away the ability for us to see Jill go back into RPD for one last time. They didn't add on to Mikhail's storyline, which they could have done. They didn't show us enough of Raccoon City. When you play Resident Evil 3, Raccoons, like, okay, so remember when you played Resident Evil 3 and you finish it and you're like, holy shit, I feel like I got to explore Raccoon City. So you're telling me a brand new game, you feel constricted. They took away, they took away so much. And it's funny you just brought up speedrunning. You have people beating that game in like 38 minutes. If I beat a game at 38 minutes on hard, you give me back my money. Because that's like an episode of House. I want my money back if I beat your game that quick. I have a really good friend. Her name is Tiffany. Tiffany Lockhart. She's one of the best and most amazing Resident Evil streamers on Twitch. She's been partner for years now. She is a professional speedrunner. And I was watching her. I don't watch a lot of streamers because I stream myself. I just don't have time. I work a full-time job. I video game develop. I stream. I do content creation. I'm writing a comic. I do a lot of shit. So if I take time to go into your stream, it's a big deal. And I'm not saying that as like a hubris thing, but whenever I get time, I go into Tiffany's streams because her streams are always just so fucking delightful to watch. So me and her got the Resident Evil 3 demo at the same time when it first came out. You remember the demo where you get to like on the train, blah, blah, blah. I was watching her play around with Nemesis so bad, like just embarrass Nemesis. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, they might need to fix Nemesis just a little bit. Because if she's doing this much to Nemesis, like she was doing stuff to him, like she was timing the dodging and shit before you had like all the extra stuff. And I'm like, Nemesis is almost like broken with all the stuff she's doing. And she told Capcom and Capcom didn't do a thing about it. So yeah. Wow, I just went on like a real rant. Woo! Way to go, Tron. Tron was like, I should have just shut up. How are you gonna do Mikhail like that? Like, you have all this time to give him a new storyline. You could do so much with it. And what was that with Nikolai? Where, like, you now see Nikolai, and, like, they opened it up into, like, a sequel. And I'm like, okay, well, we know he didn't die. So when are we going to see his continuation? Because he dies in Resident Evil 3 real bad. Like, he gets pushed up into the thingy, and then, yeah. I want to see, like, what they're going to do with that now. Like, now I'm curious. Are they going to add on to Resident Evil 4? Are we going to have, like, a new Resident Evil 4 that's going to have that Resident Evil 3 continuation? Because if not, that's going to suck. No, I have not. Oh, God. Okay, hold on. We're going to light this. We're going to light this candle. But yeah, with Resident Evil 4 coming out, I'm curious if it's going to be an actual remake just graphically, or are they giving us new storyline, because they've kind of redone 2 and 3. Like 2 and 3 have different storylines now. It's funny too because Resident Evil 2 remake, the William Birkin fights are identical to the William Birkin fights in in Resident Evil 1.5 that we never got. Like they're identical. So they took that. That's why you have her outfit, Elza Walker's outfit, which was the character that you were going to play as in Resident Evil 1.5. So it's funny, Resident Evil 1.5, there's no Claire. Claire is actually dead, missing, presumed dead. So the two characters are a a college motocross student named Elza Walker, and then Leon S. Kennedy. And in Resident Evil 1.5, it's not Leon S. Kennedy's first day. He gets stuck in the police station with Marvin and Robert Kendo and Chief Brian Irons because the last helicopter left. And Brian Irons in Resident Evil 1.5 is not bad. He's actually good. So yeah, they had so much more stuff in that. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, in Resident Evil 1.5, Ada actually helps Leon save Marvin's life. So you know how like in Resident Evil 2, you're not really saving anybody as Leon, but when you play as Claire, you're saving Sherry. They did that same exact thing in Resident Evil 1.5, where you actually get to save Marvin. So Marvin lives, which would have been amazing because he dies every time in yeah, Resident Evil 1.5, I used to play it on stream and then I got scared that Capcom would come in here and say something, but it's incredible. Resident Evil 1.5 was so fourth wall. So check this out. You could literally, it had a Sony Minidisc player in it, and you can swap out the music while playing and put on your own background music. And in the game, you didn't save on ink ribbons. You saved on memory, on PlayStation memory cards. So the game has you save on a PlayStation memory card, using a PlayStation memory card in the game while saving on an actual PlayStation memory card outside the game. And then they scrapped all that. You also had grenades, rocket launchers, so many more weapons that we never got to see until basically Resident Evil 4, where they finally introduced grenades. That's because they've had they fired Shinji Mikami. So the minute they fired him, all the lore got weird. Because then they hired Kenji Infuwan. I don't know how to say his name correctly. Oh, Moonlight Sonata. It's perfect. Every time. It doesn't matter what like the minute that happens, oh, it's beautiful. I had a song created for me called Project Katana is Epic, and I got the song created by my friend of mine that does electric music, and they got the song copyrighted. And since Moonlight Sonata is so old and the creator of it, Beethoven, no longer exists, they were actually able to sample in. Let me let you guys hear it. They were actually able to sample in Moonlight Sonata into the game, into the song. Hold on, let me let you hear it. Let me find it. I think it's this. Nope. Hold on. Here we go. This song is actually copyrighted, and I own it. It's called Project Katana's Epic, and they were able to sample in Moonlight Sonata into it for me. Oh wow, I should have this as my intro. Oh, maybe I'll transform this. Yup. This song, I own this song. You can actually use this song on TikTok for free. It's called Moonlight Katana. Well, yeah. There you go. Moonlight Katana. I made it where it was free. You guys could use it. But yeah, there it is. Resident Evil. Yeah, I remember the day she told me that they got it patented, they got it copyrighted. I was like, holy crap. And they're like, yeah, it's because he's been dead for over 250 years. They're able to do it. I was like, score. Oh, let me start this over. So this was the new thing they added in. So Trevor was the architect for the mansions. So he is the reason why these mansions exist. November 24th, 1967. 11 days have passed since arriving on this estate. How did it end up like this? A guy in a lab coat brought me a Mears plate of food. I don't know how to say that word. And said, sorry to put you through this, but it's for security reasons. That's when it hit me. It makes all sense now. There are only two people that know the secret of this mansion, Sir Spencer and myself. If they kill me, Sir Spencer will be the only person that knows the secret. Now, Spencer was the first one to find the progenitor virus in the 70s in Africa. So he's the reason why the T virus actually exists. They cultivated it, and so when you play Resident Evil 5, when you go to that facility in Africa where you see the lickers, that's where they first came up with the progenitor virus. Fun fact. But for what purpose? It doesn't matter now. It's too dangerous here. My family, I hope they are all right. I've decided to escape. Jessica, Lisa, I pray you are safe. So here's where it gets really sad. Lisa Trevor is the only person in history to ever survive the progenitor, the T virus, and the G virus all being injected into somebody. And that's why she is the way she is. They literally took his daughter and experimented on her. November 26, 1967. How could I be so careless? I lost my favorite lighter, the one Jessica gave me for my birthday. Now it's going to be that much harder to escape this dark place. November 13th, the date when my fate was sealed. Yes, you see her in this game. She's the hunchback. That's the one that's walking around that you can't kill. She's invincible. That's Lisa. Lisa Trevor. November 13th, the date when my fate was sealed. My aunt was hospitalized just 3 days before that. Jessica and Lisa said they were going to visit her. I wish I could be there with them. But wait, even as I'm writing, my memory is coming back to me more vividly. Just before I passed out, I remember the men in the lab coat said something, most likely, your family is all ready. I pray for their safety. So they kidnapped him and his daughter and his wife because he knew about this mansion and he knew what was in it. So yeah, that's why when you fire everything at her, nothing happens, because she's out of any of the nemesis, any of the T nemesis, of the tyrant, of all of them, Mr. X, which is just another fancy nemesis, nothing is as strong as Lisa. Lisa Trevor is invincible. November 27th, 1967. Somehow I managed to get out of that room. But getting out of this mansion won't be as easy. I have to get past all the booby traps. Tiger eyes, gold emblem, I have to try and remember for my own sake. Yeah, man. Like, Umbrella is... Whew, that's why it's so weird. So, how up are you guys on the continuity of what's going on currently in Resident Evil 7 and 8? So, Resident Evil Biohazard and Resident Evil Village. Is everybody familiar with what's actually going on? Because it is very weird. Like, very weird. Because when I think of Umbrella, I think of, like, basically a bunch of Nazis that human experimented on people, like serial killer-ass doctors and just, like, crazy stuff that Umbrella did. And now Umbrella's the good guy, which is very weird. Umbrella legit is the good guy, and BSAA are the bad guys now. And I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, so Chris technically works with Umbrella. Like, Chris is an Umbrella employee. That is weird to me. Like, they made amends or some shit? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, the end of Resident Evil 8 where you get to play as his squad, that was radical. Because you see him light up a cigarette, just like he lit up a cigarette in the original FMVs of Resident Evil 1, which they did not release in the US. I always screw this time thing up. Hold on. Isn't it like 250? 250? Hold on. Okay, so Little Hand is green. Oh, 8 is... 8... I adored 8. I bought 8 when it came out on PlayStation 5. And then I bought it again on PC because I wanted to play it on my Steam Deck. 8 is so good. That's what I was saying. We get to play Resident Evil 8 in third person, and we get Rose. So yeah, we're not going to talk about 8 since you haven't played it yet, but 8 is so good. I always screw up this puzzle. Longsword, a spears, I'm gonna... Yup. The DLC that comes out October 27th turns Resident Evil Village into third person just like this. You get to play and get to see Ethan for the first time. Ethan! Welcome to the family, son. Wait. Yes, please do. Because it's so... I love Lady... I love her too. She is the fanciest nemesis ever. I just want to... I could change her. That was like my favorite thing when all these like gorgeous women started cosplaying her on TikTok. I'm like, my time has come! I was so happy. I was so happy. Okay, hold on. We gotta do large hand. Okay. Left. Okay. There it is. Oh man. Every time I'm playing that game, I'm like, I could change her. I love her. And people were so upset, and they don't... Okay, so fun fact. Resident Evil 8 was exactly how Resident Evil has been remade twice. We had Resident Evil 1.5 that was remade, and it was initially supposed to be, what we saw in 1.5. Then they remade it, and then same with Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was supposed to be almost like a clockwork, almost like Clock Tower. It was going to be more demonic and more like monsterish. And they even got pretty far into it where you like basically Leon goes into like a haunted mansion, kind of like think Luigi's Mansion, but with like Leon. And he goes in there and gets infected by like a demonic virus. And he needs it. It was so freaking cool. It was going to have like all these monsters and shit. And then they got rid of it. They canceled it and scrapped it and started it over. But they took a lot of that stuff from Resident Evil 4, the original, and put it into Resident Evil Village. Like, that's why there's, like, werewolves and stuff like that. Favorite gun? I'm gonna say the same. I'm gonna say the advanced shotgun from Resident Evil 2. The one that you, like, you triple, the one that you upgrade, like, 3 times. I love that one. That's the one where you could cut people in half. You stay here, Rich. I got your back, big guy. Exactly. Like, the shotgun is such a great thing. Like, the shotgun in Resident Evil 2, you remember when you remember when you're playing B-side of Resident Evil 2, and you come through the blue door where the 3 cops are, and then there's, like, just zombies surrounding you on the left and the right. If you get off some really good play shots, you can crowd please your way out of that. I love that. I mean, I like the Desert Eagle too, but yeah, the shotgun has always been, like, it's such a faithful weapon. Does anybody know the name of this boss before we start? What is the name of this snake? See if anybody knows it. Oh my god, the monkeys in Resident Evil 0. Oh my god, they were so bad and scary. The name of this boss is Yawn. They named him that because it looks like he's yawning when he's getting ready to bite you. Yep, his name is Yawn. Here he comes.
Payback time.
Gotcha, bitch. Okay, so we're gonna do some education then. No! Richard, no! So the name of the snake is Yawn. The name of the dogs are called Cerebus. The name of the sharks are called Neptune. Then you've got the Hunters, and then you've got Tyrant. They literally made a great white shark T-Virus and named it Neptune. That's some brave shit. Because great white sharks are scary to begin with. So there's a bunch of different ways. So there's 2 different ways. There's one where he passes out and you don't actually see him again until the shark. And he does the same thing. He sacrifices himself to the mother great white Neptune to save you. Freaking Richard, man. That sucks. The plant is Plant 42. Yeah, the name of the plant's called Plant 42. Wait, is he alive? Oh. Here's something crazy, too. You see Richard's handprint right there. Yep. All the animals, including that... Let's use Richard's gun. Shh, don't make any noise. Including that freaking elephant. That elephant is infected with the T-Virus. A little bit closer. I freaking did you play? Okay, Tron, did you play Outbreak when Outbreak was actually when you could actually play on the servers where you played with people? It was so freaking good. Yeah, that elephants are terrifying when they're not infected with the T virus. I hate this part. I never get it right. We'll figure it out, though. At least there's no poison this time. Oh, God. Messed up. Run! We're fine. How bad she get hurt? Ooh. That hurt. We're good. Yeah, so Outbreak was incredible because you could play with people. So the AI was pretty good, but imagine playing with all your friends, like 3 other friends. So it was basically a squad of 4 trying to survive. Yes, Resident Evil 4 on PlayStation 2, since Ashley was so damn useless, they gave her a suit of armor that made her too heavy for them to carry off. Also, when she drops down, Leon holds onto his back when he catches her. Yeah, it makes her invincible, so she can't be killed. She's like the worst character ever. Leon! See? I never get this part right. Help me, Leon! I was so mad when Luis got killed. I was like, why can't she die? But no, you had to pop Luis. Did it on the first try! What? Yup. And then they used that same model for that dog. Oh, I got really hurt. Oh, boy. Okay, we can't mess that up again. They used that same dog model for Haunting Ground, which was a PlayStation 2 game that cost like $8 million. I thought I did it right. Okay, we'll try this. I never remember this freaking puzzle. I gotta get her, I have to get her health soon. I haven't gotten bit once yet. Of course, I'm gonna get poisoned. Oh! Here we go. This is gonna work. Son of a bitch. This one's definitely gonna work. This is gonna push those 2 back, and we're gonna win. I know you're hurt. You're a lot better off than Richard. Well, that was, okay. Come on. No whammies. I'm not getting mad. Come to think of it, why wouldn't she just get... I would get into one of these armors. You just brought that up. Why not use one of these? Like, this would be amazing to use. Well, that worked. I think I figured it out. Shield, long axe, or whatever the other two are. Is it? But it didn't work. I'm not risking this. Hold on. Let me go get some health. Because, yeah, we get popped one more time, it's over. Our girl's not looking good. Help me, Leon. I'm getting hungry. Which means I'm going to get Wendy's after this. I'll tell you this, though, when I... Uh-oh. Oh, boy. I never noticed, I guess because I have the graphics turned all the way up, the freaking veins on the back of his head is crazy. Like, that's just amazing. But yeah, hopefully next stream you'll finish Resident Evil 8, and then hopefully next stream I'll be able to finish this as well. Because I want to get into Resident Evil 2 Remake so we can talk about it. But we'll play as Claire. I enjoy playing as Claire. I like that we got our second Shining reference. So, fun fact, when you play Resident Evil 2, the original version, when you go down the hallway where the news camera is, you actually see spray painted on one of the barriers, it says Red Rum. And then when you play Resident Evil 2, the remake, Brian Irons tries to come at you with an axe, just like Johnny did in The Shining. So little cool homages there. Maybe I'll call it for the night. Red Rum, Red Rum. Yeah, maybe I'll call it for the night, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. Get some Wendy's. All right, well, all of you guys were so amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my new followers. Again, I switched up today. I was doing Ghost of Tsushima, but I really wanted to play some Resident Evil. I'm going to be on tomorrow, same exact time. So, 5:30 EST. I try to go live right after work. I literally walk the dogs, finish work, and then right as I finish work at 5:30, by like 5:35, I'm here. Because I want to be able to, people get off work and then they get to watch somebody play some video games. So yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, same exact time. So thank you for everybody that watched today. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my mods. Thank you for all the likes, and thank you for the follows. And yeah, we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks, Tron. Thanks, Wolf. Thank you to my moderator, Excitebike, and for my brother that jumped in. You guys are all great. Have a good night.